Amanda here again. So I made a little film a few days ago explaining a bit about how I rig my FS5 camera for documentary type work so that I can switch quickly from handheld to shoulder mounted to using a light or a sturdier tripod as circumstances dictate. And several people were kind enough to comment that they liked seeing my hints and tricks. So I thought I'd make some more short videos with more of those hints and maybe even some of the tricks, although I'm not really sure which ones are which. Anyway, this one's about sound arrangements. So you'll see that there's a short shotgun microphone on my camera. That's plugged into channel 2. And typically it's just set to automatic level control, so it's just set and forget. And that means that there's always scratch sound recorded, which I, or an editor if that's a different person, can use in the edit to sync up the camera sound with any sound that's recorded externally. And it also means that if I see something happening that I think would make good B-roll, I can quickly run over and shoot it, and I'll have some ambient sound to go with it, even if I haven't managed to alert a sound recordist that I'm going to do that. In the last resort, if we can't find the soundie, or if he's spent too long in the pub or something, well, we can still shoot PTCs or interviews. We'll just have to get anyone speaking standing really close to the camera so that we can hear them. Or perhaps we can put the shotgun mic on a longer cable and then they can use it lollipop style. But you'll have noticed that there's also a Roadlink receiver on there. That's typically plugged into channel 1. And if I'm just recording one person speaking, well then they'll typically be wearing a lav mic, like this one, with, you guessed it, the matching Roadlink transmitter. Some people sneer at my Roadlinks and swear by their Sennheiser G4s or Sony D21s. Well, I like my Roadlinks. In my experience, they just work. And no one's ever complained about the sound quality, although they cost maybe a third of what a Sennheiser G4 costs. In fact, if you set up an eBay alert and watch for a while, you can often pick up a pair of these for £100 or so. Although the microphones they come with do tend to be a bit fragile, so you might well have to replace those. The furry wind covers Rode do for their microphone capsules are fantastic though. They really provide loads of wind protection. They have an open foam cell core inside the furry wind jacket, and they have a rubber gasket that seals up tight around the microphone capsule so no wind gets in. What if there's more than one talking head though? I only have one spare channel on the camera. Or what if we need to use a boom mic and an operator? Well then, typically, I, or the sound recordist, will deploy something like my Zoom F8 sound recorder. So we might have a soundie swinging a boom, but also keeping an ear on the sound from one or more lav mics. He, she or they will be monitoring what's going on, and besides recording each mic's output to a separate channel on the recorder, they should be mixing as they go so that we have a ready-to-go recording straight off the F8's SD card. But even better, they can be sending that ready-to-go mix back to my camera via a Roadlink. If all goes well, then I or whoever is editing will have perfect sound right there in the camera's video files from channel 1. No need for all that tedious syncing or working out which video file belongs with which sound file. And yes, I know, ideally somebody would keep careful notes. But then there's real-life documentary shooting. If it doesn't go so well, we still have the ready-to-go recording from the F8's card. We just need to sync it in post with the scratch sound from the camera's shotgun mic. And if that fails, say a really loud motorbike drives past someone off camera who's wearing a live lav mic and swamps that channel before the soundie can turn it down on his mixer, well then we still have the individual channels recordings from the F8. So we can just fade that channel out in the edit. So plenty of options. But generally all does go well and we can get a nice mix straight out of the camera without any faffing about and without me and the soundie having to be physically tethered together, because who wants that? A useful bonus of this arrangement is that I can plug my headphones into the camera and then I can hear the mix that the soundie is getting. And this can be really useful because sometimes I can't hear what a talking head is saying. Maybe I'm too far away, maybe it's a noisy environment. But of course the soundie is getting nice clear sound because that's what they're there for. But sometimes the talking head will say something like, "Oh, look at that thing over there." And it's natural for me to swing the camera to follow and look at what they're looking at. And if I can't hear them, I get no warning that that's going to happen. If I can hear them, I get that useful heads up that that might be about to happen, and I can pan to follow them, or tilt, or whatever. Also, the F8 and many other sound recorders have a Slate mic. And this is there so that the sound recordist can dictate notes into the machine about what's going on. But the Slate mic recording can be made part of the mix that I get piped to my camera, and so I can hear it in my headphones. And that means there's a discrete means of communicating between the sound recordist and me. He hasn't got to shout across the location, he can just murmur into his bag and I can hear what he's telling me. They don't always murmur useful information though, so it can be a mixed blessing.